Let's bring in Chris Haynes, FS1 NBA analyst, senior NBA insider, Yahoo Sports. You were the one that broke the story, LeBron giving his number to Anthony Davis. You broke the story, Kawhi meeting with the Lakers and the Clippers. Were you surprised at the Kawhi news?
Surprised. I'm not. I wasn't surprised. They were going to take meetings here in Los Angeles, and so, how can you be in Los Angeles and not meet with the Lakers, who just opened up a max salary spot? You got LeBron James, who a lot of people believe probably will be a part of that meeting. You could add Anthony Davis, and then potentially Magic Johnson may be in there. I just don't see how you're in Los Angeles. They have a max slot, and you don't meet with them. So I wasn't surprised from that standpoint. With that being said, I would still think probably the Raptors or the Clippers might have the edge. But nah, if you get in that meeting with those guys that I mentioned, it's home. LA is home. It's going to be a very appealing pitch, and I think it'd be very enticing. So I'm interested in seeing how they feel coming out of that.
I just got a text from somebody who we trust, very tied into the Lakers, who said he is hearing the Lakers are going to go all in on Kawhi, but they are reluctant to give Kyrie, Butler, or D'Angelo Russell the max they can make, that if they don't land Kawhi, they're going to go and get 3 players. And we've talked about this, Redick, Darren Collison. But what they really want is Kawhi. They think Kawhi is too good to pass up. But they do have reservations about D'Angelo, what he's worth, Kyrie's personality, Jimmy Butler's difficulty being a third option on a team.
Yeah.
Does that sound right to you?
I understand it. I definitely understand it. But if you were asking Kyrie to come on to a team where it was similar to Boston, where he's expected to be a leader, then I think that's when you're asking for trouble. But he's played with LeBron. He knows how to play alongside that guy. He knows how to play high-stakes basketball. So him coming over, I think that would be an easy transition for him. Jimmy Butler, who I think he would know he's the third option. So that's the difference. Like when Kyrie was in Cleveland, he inherited LeBron. LeBron came back. He was already there. He had to force himself to be able to play alongside LeBron. He didn't like it at times, and that's what led to the departure. But that LeBron came on to him. Kyrie or any of his other guys, Jimmy, they're coming over there. They're choosing to be the third option. They're choosing to sacrifice for the betterment of the team. So that's why I think it's a little bit different. And I wouldn't have so much of a reservation for Kyrie or Jimmy.
You wouldn't?
I would. Not when you got LeBron on the team, no.
For about 2 days, there was a lot of D'Angelo Russell talk. That has slowed. Why?
I think the fact that they're getting the meeting with Kawhi and like it looks like they'll meet with Kyrie as well. I think that changes things because, for a while, we didn't know if the Lakers were going to have a max salary spot to give. And so then you had to look at other alternatives. And at the time, D'Angelo's name was hot. I still don't think I still am not dismissing him as an option because I think still the Lakers aren't the front runners for any of those players. And so that's where I think somebody D'Angelo does make sense. If that's a plan C, I think that's a nice plan C to have. He is an all-star player who has developed since leaving the Lakers.
The Kevin Durant thing's fascinating to me. I just don't remember in my life, I'm sure there are examples, where arguably the greatest athlete in the sport left a foundationally strong owner, GM, coach, roster, and went to a historically anemic franchise. Brady wouldn't go to the Lions. I just can't see, Peyton Manning, by the way, when he had options. Let's think about Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was kind of a free agent, and he turned Seattle down at the time because they didn't have a Super Bowl yet.
Yeah.
He turned down, and Seattle had Pete Carroll, and he said no. He turned down Jim Harbaugh in San Francisco, a very good coach. And he chose Denver because of Pat Bowlen, John Elway, and he loved their defense.
Okay.
So we've had great players. He was kind of forced out of Indianapolis. But Peyton looked at offensive lines, looked at owners, looked at personnel. It's very rare in my life where the arguable greatest player would just join a team that has virtually no players. I mean, Dennis Smith Jr. is not a long-term guy, and he's our most talented guy.
Okay.
I don't get it.
So let me ask you this. Do you not get more Kevin Durant making a move to join the New York Knicks, a team that virtually has nobody? Yeah. Or do you not get more Kevin Durant leaving a team that when he was up 3-1 and joined the Golden State Warriors? A move that did happen. So what to you is most earth-shattering? Which one of those moves?
I think Kevin Durant leaving a dynasty for a dumpster fire, I've never seen it in my life.
But we've never seen him move Kevin Durant going to the Warriors at that extent. Am I correct?
You mean a great player leaving a great team? Or
a great player leaving the team, leaving the team that they were up 3-1, lost to in the finals, to join a dynasty team in the Golden State Warriors. That was unheard of as well. And I think that still will rank probably tops as the one of the most heard of moves before.
When he left OKC and went to Golden State.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's more unheard of. And, the LeBron, people compare LeBron a little bit different. The Miami Heat, they weren't good. He came over there, then the whole band got together and turned that ship around. This is different. So I don't view this like him going to the Knicks. I think this is, if he does do that, number one, I think it'll be about comfortability, and it'll be about really having his own team and establishing himself as the main guy. Because, as you know, he won 2 Finals MVP, helped him to 2 championships, but there's still people who still don't give him his just due.
But why, again, so there's people that don't give him his just due. There's people that don't give me, in my opinion, my just due. I wouldn't leave here. Well, why would that bother me? I'm not seeking validation from people on Twitter. I'm
not saying he does, but that's why I said comfortability is it as well.
No, listen, he's got friends with the Knicks. That I get.
Yeah.
Like I get that he really feels like. Listen, yesterday, Joey, or the day before, he's selling his Los Angeles stuff. I think the move's crazy, but some guys like Kyrie Irving reportedly likes the East Coast better than the West Coast. I grew up on the West. I was in the East, but I always prefer the weather of the West.
I hear you.
The temperament of the West.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. Just an update on Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
I still contend Philadelphia is going to pay for him.
Yeah.
Right?
They're willing to do that.
So they're going to pay him.
Yes.
So the Houston rumors are nonsense.
Well, Houston, they're trying to get. Look, you can make an argument like who has the better situation. I think if Jimmy were to land up in Houston, I would think, depending on how the Lakers fill out their roster, I would think Houston would have the edge up as far as being the front runners to represent the West in the finals. Jimmy and Tobias going back to Philly and them being able to keep the band back, I still put Toronto over them. I still give them the edge because I just still think there are some pieces that need to come from outside to help that team. And so that's why I think it makes sense, and I think Houston could try to tug at that. Jimmy, hey, you coming over here, better situation. We can guarantee a path to the finals now that Golden State is essentially going to punt their championship aspirations for next season.
It's funny. If I'm one thing we're not talking about in all this is just being patient. Like if I'm Jimmy Butler, why wouldn't I just wait for Kawhi Leonard to make his move? If Kawhi stays in Toronto, maybe I'm Jimmy, I go west. But if Kawhi leaves Toronto on Monday or Tuesday, and I'm Jimmy Butler, I'm like, well, that just made – if Kemba didn't sign with Boston and Kawhi left Toronto, I'm Jimmy Butler, I'm like, aren't we the co-favorites in the East?
Yeah.
Because I'm Jimmy Butler, I want a shoe deal. I want to get to the conference and the NBA Finals. That's where these guys make money in June on television.
Yeah, but he can make more money with Philly, but that's why – Houston's trying to do everything they can to engage in a sign and trade.
Right.
But, yeah, no, I hear it. And that might very well play out that way. See where KD and Kawhi goes first, and then let the dominoes fall where they may.
Chris Haynes, good seeing you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.